Heyo! Welcome back to the stream. I want to talk about Ironclaw. Ironclaw is a very good ride. You have to be very careful about where you place Ironclaw. Ironclaw has a capacity of 32 people, which means for one length here is about equivalent to as many guests will get on the ride. So if you can double or triple this, it'll mean that you've got more than enough space for more guests to come through later. At a base, we can see it has 252 prestige. I'm going to test it and let it sequence itself. The custom price is set around 852 with a bargain price at about 812. Here are the basic stats. The nausea is actually frighteningly close to the excitement rating. That has some consequences. If a nausea rating is above 3 or so, then guests will start actually vomiting pretty close to all over the place. And anytime it's above 4, you'll want a ride right off of the main path so that janitors don't have to pathfind their way through exits of rides to pick up the litter, essentially. With all this though, this would only get to a max prestige rating of 752, but I think we can do better than that. So we're going to change around some things, and thankfully this is not one of the rides that takes forever to set the sequencing for. So we're going to wait through its next cycle. It's going to be a bit longer, and it's probably going to have worse nausea statistics, but overall it will have the ability to get you the most money possible, and guests will still like the ride. It is above that 500 reputation threshold, meaning it can reach classic. The price went from like $8 to $25.64, which is pretty good. I haven't quite calculated out the ratio of how much a guest is paying for how long this ride is versus how long it would be if you left the ride sequence as basic. Higher prestige equals better for your guests. You can have less time of your guests spent cycling through rides and walking, and more time that they're spending walking around and actually doing other stuff like paying for food, drinks, souvenirs, etc. So overall, because this is in the base game and it is unlocked from the start of every franchise or campaign park that you play, you will always have Ironclaw available to play with. And it's in the base game, so you don't need to have any DLC for this. Additionally, it's really interesting to skin this ride. Overall, Ironclaw has a 4.06 nausea rating and a 3.61 fear or intensity rating. Because of that, it's not always the best if you're going for a family park, but if you're not going for a family park, it's pretty okay to keep around. Let's open it up and see what guests like to come through for it. It looks like we have mostly teenagers. Let's see if we can get a family through here. Here we go. Even a family is coming on this ride. If we take a look at their tolerances, their fear is below 4.4. Their fear is below 4.4. Their nausea tolerance, they're okay with anything between here, but definitely not anything above 4.5. And so with all this said, I think Ironclaw in general is just a good ride. It does everything you want it to do. The only downside is the nausea factor. Although it's not as bad as other rides, for sure. You don't necessarily need to keep this off the main path, but it's nice if you have a little bit of space so that the exit can filter out to the main path so that janitors can clean up the mess. They tend to have a hard time pathfinding if the exit is way over here from the main path, and they don't tend to want to go down directions that there is nothing else for. I think because of all of these things taken into consideration, and the fact that the blueprint size is actually relatively shorter or smaller than these other ones, and it's a square which can fit really nicely into some compact spaces, I'm thinking I'm putting it here. If it were any more nauseous than it already is, I think I would knock it down a tier. I think it's a 5-star ride because of the accessibility to all users, DLC or not, and it comes right out the gate. You can place it down, immediately start generating lots of revenue. It's just a good go-to. And there's a reason I have 2 skins of this on the Frontier Workshop, and I can show them to you real quick if you'd like to see them. I've got the tropical version. Actually, I have 3 now that I think about it. I've got a sorcery version. It looks kind of like this. And I've even got a Lincoln Log themed one, which is super cute, and it doesn't intersect with anything, which is kind of insane. The fact is, I really like Ironclaw as a design, and I don't think there's, quite as good of a case for most of the rides that you start with. I'm going to look through the main game rides in the weeks to come. Until then, I think I give Iron Claw maybe an A-, because as much as I want it in this tier, I don't necessarily think that it is high in the tier. I think it's, somewhere below where I would put some other rides once I finally find a place for them. And there will be reasons for those too. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon. If you have any questions, comments, inquiries, can be put down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day.